Since January alone, over 85,000 migrants and refugees have landed in Italy. Now, that's a 20% increase on the same period last year. It's a human crisis made much, much worse when you know that there are 5 times more children arriving unaccompanied across that migratory route than there were in 2011. That a figure unlikely to slow, providing particular difficult headaches, of course, for the authorities. Now, Save the Children says there are 256,000 minors still blocked in Syria alone. Well, our correspondents in Italy, Natalia Mendoza with Charlotte Daven-Wetton, have this report.
A typical scene in this southern port of Sicily. In the last few months, the flow of asylum seekers has been increasing. But today, this group that is disembarking is different. Among the 200 people, the majority are minors travelling alone without their parents.
When
they arrive, they're exhausted by their journey. They find it difficult to express how they feel. They'll talk about it later. Some of them are just happy to have succeeded in getting here safely. Others arrive in a state of shock because they've probably suffered from traumatic experiences.
In 2016, over 25,000 minors landed in Italy on their own, a record number that will probably be beaten this year. Liliana de Maria has been managing host communities for children for over 30 years. She has never seen such large numbers of minors.
Before, the arrivals happened only in the summer period. Now it's throughout the whole year. Many of them are 13 or 14 years old.
Suleiman and his cousin come from the Ivory Coast. They are 11 and 12 years old. On their own, they have crossed Mali, Algeria and Libya before boarding a makeshift boat to cross the Mediterranean. As soon as they arrived in Sicily, they were placed in this centre along with other Italian children in difficulty. There are 10 children living here. Suleiman arrived here at the end of March. He has not seen his family for months.
It was hard, very hard, because when I left my family, I knew that the next time I would see them would only be when I'm much older and grown up. So it was really hard to leave my family.
2 months ago, the Italian government passed a law to protect migrant minors, a first in Europe. The law calls for the setting up of specialised centres, financed in part by the European Union, like this one in Catane. Here, most people are adolescents. They were transferred directly from the ports on their arrival.
Welcome to Italy. We're happy that you made it here safe and sound. We need to have a bit more information about you so we can get to know you.
With the help of a translator, each youngster tells their story.
I started the journey when I left Ivory Coast. I was approached by a truck driver. He took me to Burkina Faso. After that, I left for Niger. We crossed the desert to arrive in Libya.
There is a form for each minor with his personal information. Little by little, details are added by the representatives of the Italian authorities. Their objective is to gather all the material concerning these minors into a national database.
This form accompanies the minor as his situation evolves. Everything is centralized to better assist the youngster on his path. Everything is down here: social care assistance, legal and administrative documents.
Everything, including health details. After a first interview, each youngster has a medical checkup.
Buongiorno. Buongiorno. Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao. Esci la lingua? Fai A.
The objective is to determine whether the youngster needs any specific treatment or medicine.
We often have to deal with skin infections or pathologies which are linked to an injury caused by the rough conditions endured during their journey. Things brought about by the sun, salt water, or bruising.
But it's the psychological wounds of these uprooted youngsters which are often the hardest to heal.
Ragazzi, raccogliamo le melanzane? Cerchiamo di capire quali sono quelle più grosse per adesso.
Gabriele is the centre's psychologist. Informal conversations in the vegetable patch are part of the therapy.
This is like an incursion into their world. By doing this, we're opening doors into the life stories of these boys. This kind of environment is often something they're familiar with, so it helps them to structure their identity, rebuild their self-confidence.
Questo qua esiste in Mali?
Sì, certo.
E come si chiama?
Cipom.
Cipom.
Questi qua sono un po' gialli.
Because they're minors, these youngsters cannot be deported out of the country. They will stay here until their visa request is filed, at which point they will be moved into long-term centres. Only a small number will be taken in by foster families. Giuseppe and his wife were among the first people in Sicily to open their doors to such minors. Al-Haye left Gambia at 17. Today, he is a fully fledged member of the family.
In Africa, he only has brothers, so he treats my daughter like a sister and spoils her a little too much. But with the little one, they squabble. Yeah, that's true.
He calls me mum and I like that. He shows me respect and he treats me as though he really were my son.
Despite the efforts to supervise these young arrivals, last year more than 6,500 minors disappeared into thin air, attempting to reach northern Europe. We return to Catania. It's excursion day. Today's programme is swimming in the Mediterranean, a moment of rest and relaxation. The sea where so many of their travel companions lost their lives. This year, more than 11,000 youngsters decided to risk everything to reach Europe by sea.
Natalia Mendoza and Charlotte Davin-Wetton with that report for France 24.